What's going on today, guys, and welcome back to another video. All glory goes to God, and we're reacting to a little different video today. Last week or the week before, we reacted to the most important belts in Muay Thai, and now we're going to do the most important belt in kickboxing. I would consider this channel a Muay Thai and kickboxing focused channel, and since we already did Muay Thai, we're gonna do kickboxing. So let's get into the bread of this video. I mean, most of us kind of know it's most likely going to be either one championship or Glory Kickboxing, but let's get spread.
Now, previously I made a video on the most
Just give me one sec. There we go.
important belts in Muay Thai. Mostly because I'm just a fan of Muay Thai, and also because I see the rising popularity of it in the West and the rest of the world. And on top of that, I'm just a fan of all striking combat sports like
me
Muay
too.
Thai and, of course, kickboxing.
Yes,
my
sir.
personal favorite. And today we're going to be covering the most important kickboxing belts in the modern era. Let's go. The Glory Kickboxing Belt.
Oh, yeah.
Now, to a lot of Americans, such as myself, Glory is the most notable organization that we know of, and also the most notable belt that we know of.
Okay.
This is in part to Glory actually doing a good amount of events in the United States, and also Glory being, once upon a time, on UFC Fight Pass.
Glory is lit. I'm a big fan of Glory. Glory has incredible fights. Very solid promotion. A big fan. A lot of my favorite fighters fought for Glory, K1, you know, that type of thing.
On top of the meteoric rise of Alex Pereira in the UFC, a Glory kickboxing legend, and also Israel Adesanya, former Glory kickboxing fighter, it's clear to see why a lot of people in the United States know of Glory kickboxing, at least in retrospective, due to both of these guys. And of course their past relationship with the UFC. Glory has also had many legends hold their belts, such as Rico Verhoeven, Bazooka Joe Valtellini, Gabriel Varga, Petch, and many others. On top of that, Glory has a very solid ranking system and very good production quality. I absolutely love the way...
Oh yeah, I completely agree. Their production quality is insane. And I also like a lot of the fights that they put up. It's just, dude. I love Glory. Glory's legit.
Glory looks. And on top of that, they have open scoring and a 5-judge system, a thing they rarely ever get credit for because it's a thing people have always wanted in things such as the UFC and MMA and even in boxing. But here they are doing it, and they rarely ever get credit for that because they don't have a big history of robberies, or at least that I know of. Also, Glory is the only fight promotion that I can think of right now in all of combat sports that actually differentiates their interim belts from their undisputed belts.
That is interesting. I actually did not know that. That's fascinating. Interesting. Which is good, though, because interim, you know, I mean, yeah, it's an important belt, but it's still an interim. That's interesting. I like that a lot, actually.
Distinguish the two champions, the interim and the actual champion, by the color of their belts. The interim champion holds a silver belt, which is still a very beautiful belt, and the normal champion or the undisputed champion holds the nice gold proper belt. So it's really cool stuff to look at. So as you can see, I like Glory Kickboxing a lot. They're a very solid kickboxing organization with good fighters, good champions, and overall, their belt is worthy of a championship kickboxer.
I agree. I agree.
The One Championship
Yes,
Kickboxing Belt. Now, in recent memory, One Championship was absolutely killing it with kickboxing, having an absolute monstrous roster of kickboxers, having excellent fighters on the roster like Nikki Holtzkin, Joe Nadawa, Roman Kriklia, Georgia Petrosian, Chingiz Alazov, Superbon, and on top of that, their Muay Thai fighters would often transition over to the kickboxing scene.
Also, like, so I did a seminar with Joe Nadawa, and oh man, that's like one of my most favorite seminars I've done. His footwork and his aggression is insane, and I take a lot of what he's taught us in his seminar at my gym, and use it in my own game because it's just, I don't know, dude. Great stuff. Great stuff.
So basically, one could never run out of fighters for the kickboxing matches.
Yeah.
However, in recent memory, one has actually been neglecting their kickboxing quite a bit, unfortunately.
I also agree with that.
Sense, is on the global scale, they absolutely run Muay Thai, and there's far less competition for them to compete with than there is in kickboxing. And that's a shame, because we've seen what One Championship kickboxing can be like at its height, and it's absolutely fantastic. We get absolute...
That's facts. And I feel like because of that, One Championship, in my personal opinion, is just so much better than the UFC because they do have MMA. They have kickboxing. They have Muay Thai, and their kickboxing and Muay Thai fights are just so entertaining. They're just great fights, like just hands down, top to bottom. And I don't know, dude. I just don't think. I don't know. UFC is great. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know, man. I just think that one championship is just so much better because their production value rivals the UFC's, and their fight rosters are just so much more diverse in my opinion. Especially since like with modern MMA, it's just like I feel like it's a lot of the same cookie cutter fighters. Whereas in one championship, it's just I don't know. I just don't feel like that's the case. Anyway, enough glaze in one championship. They have their issues, obviously. I understand, but still.
Stacked Grand Prix for their awesome silver belt. We get very enticing fights between up and coming stars and legends of the sport. And with one's very good ability to market their fighters and their stars, it's overall just a very good product. Now, despite one
That's
putting
facts.
kickboxing on the back burner, it's still a pretty solid product, and they still have pretty exciting matches when they do put them on. And on
True.
top of that, the one kickboxing championship belt is just a beautiful belt.
Oh yeah, I love the one championship belt. It's like so beautiful. It looks so cool. That and Glories, I think they're just like the WBC and some of the other Muay Thai belts. Yeah, they're super very deeply rooted in history, culture, and they're very humble. But I don't know, just the look of the one championship belt and Glorious belt. It mm, just icing on the cake. They just look beautiful.
Held by legends of the sport and future legends of the sport. So absolutely the one championship kickboxing belt is one of the most important titles out there and possibly
I
the
agree.
most important one.
I
But that
agree.
depends on who you ask. That's just
Very
my
true.
opinion. On to the next.
Mm.
The Rise kickboxing belt. Now Rise is a pretty interesting promotion to me. They usually go under the radar because of their lower production quality and also using smaller venues in Japan. And
I will say Rise is also really a good fight organization. I mean, look at Tension. Tension came from Rise, and I do agree with some of they have a little bit low of a or a little bit of a lower promotion priority, I guess. Like if you look at some of their fights and like where there's just at, they don't look like these massive, big, huge global arenas. You know what I'm saying? But I like Rise a lot. Rise, K1, Crush, a lot of these Japanese promotions, even though they're sometimes a little bit less focused on the actual production quality, I still think they put on fantastic fights. And there's so many great Japanese fighters in these organizations. You know what I'm saying? So
also because they rarely ever market outside of Japan or Asia for that matter.
that's true.
And because of that, it's pretty hard to actually watch them live unless you know what a Bima TV is. However, despite all this, they still house some of the best kickboxers in the world,
Very
with
true.
individuals such as Toki Tamaru, Kazuki Osaki, Chad Collins, and of course the legendary Tenshin Nasukawa.
Oh
On top of
yeah.
that, they've recently been cross promoting with Glory Kickboxing as well, with fighters from both promotions appearing on each other's shows, which is fantastic for
I
the sport
agree.
because we'll get
Oh
more
yeah.
exciting matchups and champion versus champion fights.
Oh
And the
yeah.
fact that Rise is co-promoting Glory Kickboxing at all, let alone that a good number of their fighters are actually beating out their fighters in their matches,
That's
is
true.
absolute proof that Rise is a promotion and of course their belt is worthy of a world champion and one of the most important belts a fighter can win today.
I
Other than
agree.
that, on to the next. The K1
This is
belt.
why I like this guy's videos because these opinions that he has, I think, are very well researched and they have lots of merit. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not like just like, oh yeah, this is a cool looking belt. They have cool fighters came next. Like this, I actually agree with most of his opinions on his videos. These are pretty well made.
Okay, now K1 really needs no introduction.
That's facts. K1 at its height in its glory, the glory era or the K1 era. Oh man. Oh dude. I've been a K1 fan for a very long time. Same thing with Pride. Pride K and like K1 just like oh man. The golden era of those organizations, it's just like they will always forever hold a place in my heart. They've had some of the best fights in history. I just cannot say enough about K1 and Pride. Like they're just fire.
Anyone who knows anything about combat sports has heard of K1 kickboxing. The history of their heavyweight division is absolutely
Oh
awesome.
yeah. Oh
It
yeah.
was so awesome that people literally forgot about all the other amazing matches and tournaments that happened at the lighter weight classes. With smaller legends, literally, such as Masato Kobayashi, Mike Zambitis, Albert Cross, and Buaka. And since its glory days in the 2000s, K1 has definitely waned in popularity by
Very
a
true.
notable amount. But
Unfortunately, but true.
it's made quite the comeback. And the stars of their modern era are ironically in the lighter weight classes, with K1's megastar being the amazing Takeru Sagawa. On top of that, their Grand Prix tournaments are still going strong, although without the same production quality that they once had. But hey, unlike with Rise, we can actually watch their Grand Prix tournaments via Fight TV. So the fact that we can actually watch it as Westerners is in and of itself a win. So anyway,
I agree.
before K1 is legendary, their current belt is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And with its slow and steady resurgence, it as a promotion and most definitely its beautiful belt are worthy of a world champion.
I agree.
Last but not least, the Iska belt. It belongs on the Muay Thai list, and it definitely belongs on the kickboxing list.
That's
The
true.
sheer volume of legends that have won this belt in the past and in the present speak volumes of the value of this belt in the kickboxing scene.
Very true.
Despite this belt having less of a presence overall compared to the others, largely in part to the belt not being tied to any promotion in particular, it tends to fly under the radar a bit to the point that some people even forget it's a thing sometimes. But despite that, it is still
I disagree. I disagree. I feel like most people I talk to, whether it be through MMA or kickboxing, whatever, they've heard of the belt. Obviously, I could kind of tell that they don't put a huge importance on it. And they kind of brush it off as far as like, oh yeah, that's a cool belt, but it's not like this belt. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's completely flown under the radar, but I will say as far as the belt's prestige, as far as it looked at as a whole, I definitely feel like it's not as important. I'm not saying that it is or it isn't. I'm just saying like, as it's looked at, as far as the general populace who follow combat sports anyway.
really important belt in the kickboxing scene, and one of
Excuse
the
me.
most important ones you can win in general. But despite all that, Iska gets a good amount of hate by a lot of people.
That's very true.
I think I know
That's
why. And I think
very
it's
true.
because Andrew Tate actually won one of their kickboxing belts, specifically their cruiserweight full contact kickboxing belt. And with Tate's kickboxing style being quite awkward, a lot of people think he's a bad fighter, which I
Excuse me.
disagree with. I think he's a solid kickboxer overall, regardless of.
I mean, Andrew Tate is a very solid kickboxer. Hello, cat. She decided to throw on my desk. Anyways, I think he's a solid kickboxer. He's definitely very pro, very skill level. He's obviously very. If you've watched any of his fights or whatever, you know that he just has a terrible habit of keeping his chin up and his hands down, which has got him knocked out quite a few times. But I still think he's a legit kickboxer. I don't think you can't say that he's not a legit kickboxer, which I know that there's some people who have said that, but I just don't agree.
What he's done in real life. But because of who he is and how he fought, a lot of people go, oh, Tate won the belt, and the belt must just not be very good. It's a trash belt. And that's just a very dumb leap in logic.
I agree.
In my opinion, that's like saying Andrew Tate won the Niska belt. I guess Ernesto hoosed his ass too, because he won one as well. Oh, CM Punk fought in the UFC welterweight division. I guess GSP is ass because he fought there too. It's like, come on, man, let's not be stupid here.
No,
but regardless,
that's facts.
The Iska belt is still absolutely a legendary belt, both in the past and in the present, and it's most definitely a belt you would want to win if you want to really put your presence on the world of kickboxing.
I completely agree.
Other than that, thank you guys for watching. If you just
well, that was a cool video. I liked it a lot. Short and sweet, but I like this guy's content a lot. A little original stuff right here, but I agree. Most of these belts are super solid, and also especially in the world of like martial arts and just in combat sports in general, like winning a belt, regardless of its prestige, that still means something, right? Obviously, again, there's belts that hold more prestige than others, but like, I feel like just even getting a belt, that in and of itself is, again, it means something. You know what I'm saying? Like that you've accomplished something, and you are better than the best people at this time and place. So I still think, regardless of the belt's prestige, it definitely has merit. Anyway, well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you had a great day and a great video. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification. It really helps me out. Go and explore my content, and it is totally free for you guys. I hope you have a great day, and God bless.